I'm Dr. Dan Posey. I'm the Director of Student Affairs at Texas A&M University and the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences.
So what made you decide you wanted to become a veterinarian?
So I grew up in a agricultural home. I was uh, the fourth child of five, and my father was an agriculturist. We moved all over the state of Texas, and the poultry industry and dairy industry is where I had the most experience when I was a child. And I can remember in a dairy, one time my father palpating a cow, and I was about 5 or 6, and actually he was doing artificial insemination on that cow, and it's the first time that I'd ever been actually seeing somebody work on a cow, and I decided at that point in time that it was fascinating to be in agriculture because of feeding people, and that's what we'd hear every evening when we're at the meal about how the things that we're eating are things that we actually grew. And so that actually had a big impact on me. I had the opportunity to look at a lot of different careers, and actually my father probably was the one that influenced me the most of thinking about veterinary medicine because of my ability to do math and science when I was in junior high and high school, and he thought that would be a good fit. He influenced me that way. He influenced me with a lot of things about agriculture.
So what do you enjoy doing at home?
Yeah, so I think one thing is that being a baby boomer, we sometimes get that most of our enjoyment happens at work, and we do. We love to work as a generation. We do love to work and come to work, but time away from work is really important to reboot your system. And so there's several things I love to do. One is I love to play golf, and I wish I could play it more often. And then I do like to a lot of cycling and running and exercise type stuff is really, really important to me. I found out because as we go through this, you'll find out more and more about me and why that's a really, really important part. Love to read. I love nonfiction, and I did spend a lot of time doing that every day, reading nonfiction. And of course, I love time with my family. I have 2 children, 2 girls, and of course my wife, and love that.
So what was veterinary school like for you? Where did you go?
Yeah, so it's been a long time since I was in veterinary school. I went to veterinary school here at Texas A&M University during the 80s, and I remember, because I did not do my undergraduate degree at Texas A&M, I did it at Texas Tech University. And when I came in here, the level of rigor that I felt when I came into this building was tremendous. I didn't know if I was going to be ready to take this on, and so when I came in, I felt at a great advantage coming from a different university than Texas A&M University. And so when we sat there, and I sat there in that class 201 on my very first day, I can remember looking around and only recognizing one person who I'd gone to Texas Tech with, and we were just superficial friends, acquaintances is all we were. And after probably the first week, I realized that the level of knowledge that I was going to gain here was going to be tremendous, and of course being driven to learn and love to learn, that right there just really helped me get through the program. I liked the idea. I'd never been in a situation where you knew 144 people back then and knew them as well as we would know them. And it was such a great thing to know that you'd have 60, 70 people that you'd know so much about, and be able to share. And we still share. Long after school's over, every time I see those persons, it's like we're right back in veterinary school after spending 3 years here. There was a 3-year program. We went year-round at that time. In fact, I'm the last of the 3-year program. We're the last class that graduated that way. And so really, really important part The social portions of veterinary school was not very important to me when I thought, but as we come through, the network of camaraderie, of students going through the same thing is so important. And it really made us survive the 3 years here of ongoing stress and the things that we go through. But I remember those 3 years as probably one of my happiest years as a veterinary student. So
why did you decide to specialize after vet school?
So there's a process that's associated with that. And so I'm practitioner boarded, which is a little bit different. So I practiced for 20 years in Madisonville, which is about 45 minutes from here, and it's a mixed animal practice. And as my practice, when I went into that practice, it was about 80% equine when I first started that practice, with about 20% dog and cat. And as the practice grew, the companion animal side increased. The equine athlete portion stayed about the same, but then we added on the beef cattle industry, which is really, really important to Madison County. There's lots of cattle in Madison County. They're known for their highest number of cattle on pasture at one time. And so as I went through that, my interest in bovine medicine increased dramatically. And so in 1996, 1995, I went to the Great Plains Veterinary Educational Center in Nebraska and actually got a certification in population medicine. And then from there, I went to my beef cattle practitioner boards a few years later and became practitioner boarded. So it's a process of interest. And of course, as a mixed animal practitioner, I'm almost interested in all species, and I am interested in all species.
So how did you end up here at A&M?
So I was here in Madison County for 20 years, and in 1995, I actually got ill. I had a viral infection that triggered an autoimmune disease, and that changed my outlook on life because I was told by the doctors that I wouldn't be able to practice. And so that's when I went to Nebraska and actually got the certification and thought about changing the way that I was going to do my practice. And when I came back, I did. I added more associates and loved my last 8 years of practice because of the opportunities that it showed me, but also what it helped me was handling the stress of being a veterinarian by spreading the workload over more veterinarians. And when I did that, I used to have a Dr. McGee who's came by the clinic, and he would bring by his students and he would visit with me and everything. And one day in passing, he said, that we're going to have an opening over here at Texas A&M in a mixed animal practice, the prison system, the TDCJ system, and we're looking for somebody that would do that. Would you be interested in doing that? And I said, sure, I would think about it. And so I went and explored that possibility and ended up getting the job. So, and sold my practice to my associates is what I did.
So how did you move from that position to what you do now?
Yeah, so I got here, life is really funny because, at one time I would have thought that I would have, when I went to Madisonville, I was there for 2 weeks and I realized that this is the place that I was supposed to be. I had the opportunity to meet a lot of great people and had a really successful business there and raised our children there in Madison County and really, really loved it. And then as I got more interested, my practice changed, and then what happens is things happen within your life that make you want to change what you do. And so the good thing about a veterinary medicine degree, a DVM degree, is that you have that opportunity. It almost allows you to do anything you wanted to do. Sometimes you have to get more education. So when I came here and was on the TDCJ rotation, and I did that for 7, almost 8 years, and I really enjoyed the interaction of students in the truck. In fact, I would get up early in the morning and run to work because I love meeting the students and us going out and working on cattle or horses or pigs or dogs or cats or whatever we were going to do that day. And then I realized that it was actually not the care of the animal that was important to me. It was actually the care and helping the students find where they need to be. And so when that happened, Dean Rogers recognized that I had that feel, that expertise, and asked me to come over here to the dean's office. And so I started out as the director of special programs and helped with the MBA and did some mentoring and those things. And then last year got moved to the director of student affairs, in which I can impact individual students, which really is important as a veterinarian, is helping our clients have success with their pets. Well, I'm having success with students with their education, and that's what drove that.
Okay, so what are you most fascinated with in the field of veterinary medicine?
Well, my area of specialty is beef cattle, and of course I love beef cattle medicine, and I love the idea of feeding people. And you know, the idea is that with the specialty, we go from conception. The board certification that I have in practitioner boarding looks at from conception to consumption. And that's a really fascinating area, and sustainability of ranches is a really important part of what I like to read and talk about. It's an important part of that, and it's really fascinating to me. But I have a lot of intellectual curiosity about a lot of different things. And so there's almost no subject within veterinary medicine that I wouldn't like to talk about, because most veterinarians, when they take on the mantle of being a veterinarian, they're lifelong learners, because medicine changes, the profession changes, and so you have to kind of look at have one of those types of minds that would love to learn about a lot of different things as a veterinarian. And so that's why when you ask what I'm fascinated in, I'm fascinated in a lot of things. But bovine medicine is probably where most of that intellectual curiosity is.
If there was one thing you could tell the community, what would you like them to know about the field of veterinary medicine?
So in the field of veterinary medicine, I think there's such a wide variety of things, but I think the main thing that is the common interest among all veterinarians is animal welfare. Our patients are really, really important to us, and that anytime we see an animal come to a small animal clinic and we're seeing them on a table, or we're going to ranch as a large animal veterinarian, or public health, or in the military, it does not matter. That we're there because we're advocates for the animal, and animal welfare is very, very important to us. And so it really comes down to really honoring the animal and what the animal is here on this earth for. And it's really, really important that the public understand about the importance of the veterinarians in their life, and how care of animals and that honor that we give them is so important to their health.
Okay. So what advice do you have for young people who wish to pursue a career in veterinary medicine?
Yeah, so veterinary medicine is such a great field. In fact, right now, 80% of the people that come to veterinary medicine want to be going to private practice, most of them. There are 20% of students that look at their DVM degree differently, and are actually going in non-practice parts of our profession. And so some of those are in industry, research, teaching, and also in the military, regulatory medicine, and diagnostic medicine. So you can see there's a big variety of things out there for each person who wants to be a veterinarian. And so I actually tell them the degree of DVM, the DVM degree, is a really, really important degree, because it opens the door almost every part of our society. In fact, I'm educating and help educating veterinarians right now, veterinary students right now, that will use their DVM degree in a different way than I ever thought possible, because of what the degree does, the education you get at Texas A&M. If I was trying to pursue the profession, I would think that some of the background things that could happen in junior high and high school are really, really important. In fact, I would take the highest science that I possibly can. I would take all the honor classes, getting prepared to have a stellar college career. I'd also pick a place in which you have, and a degree in which you have a great passion for prior to coming to veterinary medicine. Because we don't require you to have a degree here, but we do require you to have all the prerequisites done. But you could be working on something you have great passion about, and make sure that you pick that area. And then when you come to veterinary medicine, have an open mind about the things that you can do. I know that I personally thought that the only way I'd be happy was to be a practitioner in Madison County. And now I'm at Texas A&M University, and I'm in the Director of Student Affairs. And my goodness, it's such a great career to have because of what DVM did for me. It allowed me to have the skill set to be able to do all those different things that I've had. I've had 6 career changes in my life. And so in private practice, several times it was from owners, it was from being an associate to an owner, to be a multiple veterinary practice and managing, then coming in here and being a section chief, and all the different things that I've been able to do. And my DVM degree is what did that.
Okay, so that's the last question. If you want to just give a little closer,
You bet.
then we'll begin.
So I'm very, very blessed, man, because I'm a veterinarian, and I cannot imagine me having another career that would have opened up so many doors for me. The degree here at Texas A&M College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, the degree that I got here was opened many, many doors. It allowed me to do things that were beyond what I thought were possible. And so really think about being a veterinarian. A veterinarian is a great career, and if you think about all the possibilities that could happen, and you get on that road to discovery, it'd be really surprising where it could take you. So good luck on that.